So it looks like Apple has officially cut the cord on the App Store for iOS 6. This is really sad news because as a collector, I can't actually use the App Store anymore. It simply just says cannot connect to iTunes Store, and the same thing happens when you try to go onto the iTunes app. So that's pretty sad to see. You know, a lot of people have speculated online that this is due to an expired certificate, which makes sense. You know, this is a device that came out in 2012. 11 years later, I'm pretty sure Apple does not expect the majority of people to be using this device and really just connecting to Apple servers after so many years. So they pretty much just pulled a plug. The App Store no longer works, and this is just one of the ways that Apple has kind of made iOS 6 less usable. You know, a few months ago, I made a video called iOS 6 is not the same anymore, and it's true, man. Like, so many apps on iOS 6 do not work anymore. And if you go back to some of my older videos from like 2021, iOS 6 was so usable back in the day. Like, I could put a SIM card into this device, I could use Siri, I could even use the Apple Maps app, which is really cool to see, and, you know, even do things like iMessage and all that awesome stuff. But it looks like it no longer works, which is really, really sad to see. So there are pretty much 3 ways to go about fixing this. Obviously, Apple is not gonna, you know, reissue another certificate, so that is pretty much out of question. But one way that you could fix this is to go into the file system of the App Store, and you could like edit the file name and, like, you know, the date and everything to actually make the app think that it's running an older version, even though it's not, which I haven't personally tried, and I'm not sure if that would work because this does seem to be a server side issue. So if anyone wants to try that and report back to me, maybe you guys can email me or DM me on Instagram. Be sure to let me know. The second way is to, of course, you know, go into general. You can go into date and time, so you can pretty much set the date back a few months. And then when you go back into the App Store, it does attempt to load for like a few seconds, but it doesn't actually do anything, which is kind of sad. So I don't think that method is actually going to work right now. But if anyone knows a way to actually make that work, like I said, be sure to let me know. And the third method, which is probably the most popular one and the one that's going to lead to the most success, is to jailbreak this device and to just sideload your apps manually. But this also means that you need to be able to find a way to get a hold of these apps one way or another. And, you know, there's a lot of ways to do that online, which I probably won't be covering in this video, but there are ways to manually sideload all these apps onto this device. It does take a little bit of effort because you do need a jailbreak, but once it gets set up and everything, it's super simple. But overall, you know, it's really sad to see that Apple has done this to iOS 6. This is one of my favorite softwares, and to see the software slowly and deliberately get killed is pretty sad. And I know you guys are probably wondering, does this also affect any other devices? And at the moment, I don't think it does, because this iOS 7.0 iPhone 5C still works perfectly fine on the App Store, and all these apps are pretty much still loading, so I'm pretty sure it still works on iOS 7. I've also heard rumors online that iOS 8, iOS 9, and iOS 10 are still working. Supposedly iOS 11 is not working, so if anyone wants to confirm, be sure to comment that down below. But yeah, it looks like iOS 7 is still good, but it really is a matter of time before Apple eventually just pulls the plug on all these older operating systems. So all I would say right now, guys, is enjoy it while it lasts. Like, you really need a jailbreak on this thing to pretty much maximize the usability on this device. It's sad to see, but, you know, it had to happen eventually. And yeah, I just want to let you guys know what the status of this is. And if anything does change in the future, of course, I'll be updating you guys on this channel, so stay tuned for that. And I know you guys are probably wondering, why haven't I uploaded in a while? And that's actually because I'm in the process of moving right now. So stay tuned. I'm going to be upgrading my setup and all that stuff. So I'm not going to be uploading as frequently for like the next few weeks, maybe even the next month. But I will be making content here and there, so stay tuned. And yeah, excited for you guys to see the new setup. But until then, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.